Yeah, so the problem you described to me is that you have this in-operator optimization setup for releases, if I understand correctly, to have the group level queries. And now you want to expose it via GraphQL and it does not work.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, it does work. It just, it kind of breaks the ordering. So everything works, but if you open, can you share your screen? Maybe?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So I found your note here somewhere. Yeah. So this one, right?
Yeah. But did you see the previous comment? And did you have you seen the video? Okay. Where shall we start? Maybe I can share my screen actually. Then maybe that.
All right, that might be faster.
Yeah. Can you stop? Okay.
Yeah.
Where is? Yeah, this one. Yep, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let me try to find. Okay, it should be like shared release resolution design. Yeah. So these tests are executed for both like a group level and the project level GraphQL controllers, resolvers, I mean. And so the only difference between these kind of two examples is this sorting. Yeah, and if we go into the, I guess, group releases finder, group releases finder. Yeah, so this is how it works. So we just sort by attribute is just a method on the model, which basically just makes kind of just creates an order scope. So yeah, this is like just order, released at, accident, like ascending, and then it just orders by ID in the same direction. Yeah, and then it's applied to this operation query builder. Yeah, and yeah, like here it's sorted properly. If we use this finder in the REST API, I think it also works properly. I had tests for this. But if we do that in the GraphQL API, it looks like kind of GraphQL maybe reapplies this case set. I can, let me try to find the terminal. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I mean, here, let's, I was debugging it on Friday. So, so here's a test. Yeah, I guess I stopped Spring, so it takes a while. So I first just skip it just to show you that. This is why, by the way, I think it's kind of called twice.
Can you just say so on your binding? Do you have a prompt there?
Do I have what?
Now? Can you type
Yeah, I can.
Now?
Yeah.
So can you just say order.toSQL? Can you print that out?
Okay. Order.
I just want to see what's the
script.
underlying order.
Oh, by the way, this is a different one. This is the second one.
Okay.
And it's, as you see, it's right now just releases ID descending. But if I would call it here, it would be actually the first one, which is like releases set, released at ascending, releases ID ascending. So it's I can, if I can restart it and maybe show you that one again.
Yeah. So from this, my assumption is so when we invoke this in operator optimization, so this generates a very special active record query. It's a very special.
It's a long one, yeah.
Scope, and how it works is that the sorting behavior is implemented within like a subquery in a common table expression, and at the end you receive sorted records on the outer query, and on the outer query there is no order by close.
Okay, I see.
So the key set pagination query in GraphQL notice that, hey, this is a scope and it doesn't have a sorting, then it automatically tries to apply the ID-based sorting. That's why you see only sorting by ID.
Okay.
And that probably what's causing you the spec failures. So it basically resorts the whole list. Yeah, this is coming from the Finder. What you can see here, you have two columns, and the next invocation will try to figure out what kind of sorting options you have on the scope. It will notice that there is nothing because it's from the in-operator optimization query, and it will just forcefully add the ID sorting.
Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of what I thought and what I got from the looking into this like in operation optimization code. So how, like, the way I understand it is basically that I just need to like move this thing out of the Finder, and I don't remember its releases. Let me search for this. Where it's called. Yeah, it's called from here. So basically, I just need to remove it from Finder and kind of maybe reapply it here. This is like one idea. And also reapply it in other places where we use this Finder. The only problem then is how would I, oh, actually, and then if I understand it right, if I just do that, then the GraphQL will, oh no, it won't apply this in operation for me, right? How I kind of use it in the GraphQL then? Yeah,
so in your, I would keep it in your Finder. So that's totally fine, because then you can share the code with the REST API and with GraphQL. So there is another problem. Let me jump to that first. So the REST API where this is working is using probably offset pagination. So you have the page parameter, right?
To be honest, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's
it should be, but yeah.
Because I think there are only two cores in the REST API that uses key set pagination. And so the upside is that in this approach is that so the query that the in-operator optimization provides can be easily offset paginated. So you can just
so it's not a problem.
It's not a problem for the REST API, but in GraphQL, we have this key set pagination thing going on, right?
Yeah.
And that means you need to apply some extra conditions on the base scope. So if you go back to, this is the API, right?
Yeah, this is the REST API. I was looking for the pagination here.
Yeah, I think it's probably inherited from the everything else. Like
yeah, right.
Yeah, pagination.
It should be included.
Yeah, pagination params.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay.
So that there you probably see the offset.
Yeah.
the page parameter, or what's the name?
Okay, yeah. So continue. You were saying that
So
it's
so
fine
going
to use
back
it here, but
so are you familiar with key set pagination?
not really. This is like my first experience.
Yeah, so key set pagination is not as simple as offset pagination. So the first page load is pretty much the same. The second page load uses the last record of the previous page. So for example, in your case, when you sort by created at an ID, we take the last record and take the created at and the ID attribute from the result set, and we encode it into JSON. So that's something the front end gets. And the front end can use this JSON blob to request the next page. And in the SQL queries, we will just say, okay, this is the previous created at value, then the next records should be the created at should be higher than the encoded created at plus the ID. So it's a bit complex to build the relation to actually query this, but this is automatically done by the GraphQL key set pagination library. And as I mentioned earlier, the in-operator optimization does this subquery magic. So it's like the actual sorting happens in a subquery. You would need to access the cursor and apply it before you invoke the in-operator optimization. So I don't know if the Finder allows you to customize the scope.
Let me see. No, not really. Just created here as a method.
Yeah. So,
but I can we can change this, right?
Yeah. So you could theoretically accept a cursor parameter in the initializer as a param, right? It's an optional. There.
I mean, cursor.
Yeah, I think it can be an empty hash.
Empty hash, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Cursor. Okay. What's next?
And then in some on the release scope. It's a bit tricky. So I probably cannot just tell what to write exactly. But so what you are doing here is where your cursor is, you basically define the sorting, right? So that's how you.
Yeah, this is just like this returns.
Yeah.
Oh, it actually just returns all releases, like on the database sorted. Yeah, and this is like the what I understand is that then this in-operator optimization will kind of get this order close from the active records relation and reapplies it later to the.
Yeah. So what you need to do is like if there is a. So if there is a cursor given, you need to apply that cursor in the release scope. So the release scope is current.
Something like if.
So you can cursor.any.
Is the empty hash?
Yeah.
It's
empty
not
hash
any.
We can ignore. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you can just assign the release sort by attribute to a variable. So the first line of the method.
Yeah.
And
cool.
And then that's right. So if we have cursor, then we have to apply the conditions, right? So it's like it builds a complex conditions in active record, like, okay, you have the created at or released at column. Then if the sorting is descending, then do this. If it's ascending, then do that kind of condition, and everything is abstracted away. What you need to do is turn this scope into a key set aware scope. So
How do I do this?
Yeah, that's yeah. So we have this helper method. You actually put a binding in there where we
Oh, you want? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So if you can just open the simple order builder class.
Which class again?
Simple order builder. So this class, what you can do is you can pass in any kinds of active record scope, and it will try to transform the order by values to support GraphQL. And what it does, it looks at the order values. Your current order values are released at and ID or something like that.
Okay.
And
yeah.
And it will return a new scope that encodes more information into the active record scope, so we can use cursor pagination.
Okay, scope is this thing, like this
scope is your scope,
hash?
Yeah.
No,
so scope is just a variable that you pass in.
Where I pass the cursor though?
So okay, that happens after that. So first, let's just call this class in your Finder.
Okay, so it's GitLab pagination. Group releases Finder. Okay, so let me try to see.
I can actually give you a snippet, maybe.
Maybe we can. Maybe you can share the screen instead of me, since maybe it will be easier for you to just.
Yeah. Let me try to.
Okay, then I'll stop sharing.
Okay. All right. So I'm in the branch, and where was it? Releases Finder, right?
It's a group releases Finder.
Really?
Yeah, it's called group releases. Just.
Maybe I'm on the wrong branch.
No, it exists. It's an old one. Shoot.
Oh, wait, why am I 2020? Wait, something is wrong.
Yeah, it's UpFinder releases.
Check out.
Is it a tile manager or something? Something like Xmonad or something?
Yeah, it's called i3. Okay, now I can see it's
yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, release it at. Yes, let me just quickly check. I just want to see the sorting, how it works. Okay, this is fine. So it's attribute based. Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope my keyboard is not too loud.
No worries. I have the same one, like similar stuff. Just typing on the MacBook. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a bit clunky, but it's kind of like in Elixir, if you know the language. So
yeah,
when you
I
build
know
a scope, so we return a success. So unfortunately, we cannot automatically turn all kinds of queries to key set specific queries, and in that case we just blow up. But in your case, this shouldn't be an issue, and usually it's catched anyway during testing.
Okay.
So
but wait a second. Isn't it exactly what happens in this query builder? It just calls the same simple order builder, I think. No.
Yeah. So the thing is, so I see two ways to solve this problem. So
Okay.
one way is we pass the cursor into the finder, and this finder will take care of the, applying the cursor and providing the sorted data. And then we can tell GraphQL not to do any more sorting at all, because it's already sorted from the finder.
Okay.
So you basically skip the key set pagination stuff.
In the GraphQL.
Yeah, at least the sorting part. So that's one way we can do. That's what I'm trying to do. The other way we can do is we somehow, so probably in the resolver, we have to do some extra steps. So we expose a very like this query, and we pass it to the GraphQL library to apply the cursors, right? So this is a standard GraphQL thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
And after we have the query, we actually apply this one.
Oh, it would be kind of strange. So basically,
that's
what
a
you're
bit
saying is that like we take some part of the finder, then put it in the GraphQL, and then we execute the call the finder again.
Yeah. So so you would have to do it kind of like a two calls to the finder. So you can have something like I don't know, that a simple scope that just returns this one, right? And this is what you call first in your GraphQL resolver.
Yeah.
And then somehow hook into GraphQL itself and the pagination code. And after you have all the conditions present on this query, you can actually build this one. You invoke this one.
Yeah, I see.
None of these
let's
are nice, to be honest. So it's kind of hacky, and this piece of code is kind of like a low level implementation. So it gives you a lot of flexibility how you're gonna build these queries, but the downside is that integrating it to like finders or GraphQL takes some effort.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully the tooling will improve, but yeah, that's not. I mean, I don't want to like blow up the merge request and suggest that we solve this problem in a generic way. I guess that's something we can look into later when maybe there are more teams interested in this optimization.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what I did here is I built this GraphQL specific scope that knows about GraphQL, and it keeps the same sorting, right? So that's the important part. And I'm extracting this order object from the scope. I can show you later how this works. And I am applying the cursor to your scope. And let me just try to show you quickly what's going on. So this one, can you read this?
Yeah, I can read it.
So this is an active record scope, right? So the
Yeah.
scope has something called order values. And if you check the size, it's 2. So because we have 2 columns, right? So that makes sense. But so when you turn it to GraphQL specific sorting, okay.
Oh, by the way, I got this error a few times when I was debugging.
Yeah. Okay, just that. So you don't see any change in the SQL itself, but if you see the order value size, it's 1. And
okay.
The order value is actually a composite, so it encodes both columns, and it has a special class. It's a key set order.
Okay.
And in this key set order, we encode a lot of extra information about the columns. So for example, exposed was the attribute name, was the order direction. I think that's the sort. I don't remember the parameter, but also encode like.
It's called. I see order direction in the hash.
Order direction.
Yeah.
So a tons of extra information we encode by looking at the column definition. So like nullable, it's very important when you check like greater than and equal, when you look at the scope, and we also look at the order direction, and then yeah, so basically we encode more information in this order object than a standard like active record order object. And this helps us to make the GraphQL pagination generic enough so you can easily apply it on your scope. So you don't have to deal with a lot of extra configuration. So in the code, going back, what's happening, I'm just asking for this order object. So this is just a fancy way of saying this one. Give me the order object. That's it. And the order object has a method.
Okay, wait a second. So basically I'm trying to understand. So you can call this simple order builder? It basically just collapses like 2 order objects into 1.
Yeah, and you know, looks into the column definitions and try to like store extra information in the order object, right?
Okay.
And an example. So what you can do with the order object is you can apply the cursor, and you just give your scope, and you just, let's say, what was it, release that?
Yeah.
And you see, it's smart enough to figure out how to embed these variables into the SQL query. So at the end, you will get a new scope that is, let's say, it's already paginated. So that's the end result. And this is what I did here, right? So you can just say scope equals, right? And this release scope hooks into the get releases. So by doing these changes, your GraphQL query can paginate via cursor pagination. So what's left, and that's a tricky one because I haven't done that before, you need to tell the GraphQL, the GraphQL library that you actually don't need any kinds of sorting or any kinds of key set pagination, because you already did that.
I think the first question will be how to pass this cursor to this finder.
Yeah. So you call your finder in the releases resolver.
Group releases resolver, it's called. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's available here.
Okay.
Can run a test case just.
You can put a binding in there, and I can send you the test which actually was failing, which what I was running. Yeah, I sent it to Slack.
Got it. Assuming that I didn't put a typo there, this could just work. Sorry, I just updated my GDK, so
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's never fast, actually. Even when Spring is loaded, it's like
Yeah.
5 seconds.
So I'm hoping that we can somehow get the cursor. What was this?
Yeah, I think you can just yeah, or you could just remove any.
Ah, yeah. Okay, and this is like you have like a shared example.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, and this is basically the wrong ordering. Okay, so this is the expected error what we should
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let me just run it again and see if yeah, what I'm thinking about it, it's this solution might not work because you know that when you paginate over the pages, somebody needs to expose this cursor to the end user, right?
Yeah.
And if we kind of disable this in
GraphQL, then we need to do that ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe
Can we just skip the ordering but still expose?
So this is the place where it's implemented. See, we do the same thing here.
Yeah.
So we check if the order is key set aware. So in our case, it won't be, because remember that there is no ordering at the generated scope from the in-operator optimization.
Yeah.
And then here we try to use a simple order builder, which actually gives you the ID ordering.
Yeah.
And we will return with key set order. So actually we could kinda hack it, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea. So you could do something like okay, not a number, but like so you could maybe pass something like no order. And then if you detect that here, you can just remove the ordering completely. It's a strange one, right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely feels like a hack.
so basically what we need to do is we need to have a condition here that says like, hey, is this an in operator optimized query? If yes, then we don't want to do this part. And then we are kind of fine.
Yeah. Does no order, like, is it something valid in PostgreSQL, or you just made it up as a kind of?
I mean, if you
yes,
if you just order by a constant, I guess that's what you get. Order by, I don't know, can you just say 999? Ah, yeah, that's a tricky
special
one because you need to, this is the column number, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
but if you put it in quotes,
I mean like this.
I mean, yeah, if you put anything in them, why doesn't it work?
I need to be integer.
That's really strange. Yeah, we can use 1 + 1 there, but yeah.
I'm not sure that's
So at least it's not sorted, right?
So
it doesn't actually affect the sorting.
You can do this exclude, and then you can do this. Oh no, not exclude, accept.
What does it mean?
So it's like you can see the difference between the two queries.
Okay.
You can see there is no difference. So if you just even if you just take a look and do this.
Yeah, it's not sorted.
Let's just see one ID. Right, so I'm just printing a lot of ones, and this order. What you can see here is
from Postgres. Yeah.
Kind of Postgres undeterministic. And it starts with 83 and goes up until 132, and then starts from 1. And if you do the same thing, right? Let's say 3 + 3, you get the same thing.
Yeah.
So actually, if you have like an expression here, like a SQL expression, I'm pretty sure there is another way to do this. You have to Google it, but then you can have an order by clause.
So basically, what you're saying, to fix this, we can just after applying in operator, we can just add like order 1 + 1, and it will fix everything.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Of course, what you need to do is you need to add an extra if statement here, right? So check the order values.
Okay.
Something like this, right?
Okay.
So you don't want to do this part, right? You don't want to transform the scope or anything if the key set pagination is already there, or you have your special marker.
Yeah.
Plus what you need to do is so this looks good, right? So you have, yeah, so this is fine. This is just, you know, to take the 100 rows for the page.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. This is what you need to skip, right? So this is the place where you encoding stuff. So apply cursor condition. I think you don't need this. I might be mistaken. Yeah, you don't need this.
Yeah, but we still then we still need everything we wrote before, right? Like we need this apply cursor condition in the Finder itself.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think a way to do this nicely, and there is no, I don't see a simple way. So right, you can do this hack right here.
Yeah.
That could probably work, but my concern is that it will be too hacky. So maybe we have to like approach this from another point of view. And implement a new connection type for this that is specifically designed for the in operator. But that's a bit expensive, to be honest, to like just write from scratch.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and then you have to pick it. Yeah, this is a tricky one. And what also bothers me, this one. So in the graph, so in the GraphQL, you can actually say, so normally when you paginate forward, you say after, right? So give me 5 records after the specific cursor. And there is also a way to say before. So let's say you are on the page 5, but you want to paginate backwards. Then you would need to reverse the order, and this actually needs to happen in your Finder.
Yeah, I see. Question: can we approach it in a completely different perspective? Can we make the in operator optimization to return some order?
I see what you mean. Yes, I think we can. But the problem I see there is, let's say you have 50,000 releases.
Yeah.
And then all the 50,000 items needs to be read by the database in order to sort it. So just going back to the in-operator optimization. So the in-operator optimization, you have a CTE, like a subquery that produces sorted results. Unfortunately, the outer query doesn't know that these are sorted already. So if you stick a sort order there, what it will do, well, I have no idea what kind of data is this. So give me everything you have from the CTE and I will sort it in memory. But how you can work around this is you you apply a limit. So just going back here, so let me just try to. I think. So what we could do first is we can just say, you can here, you can add your ordering. No. It's not so easy. So what I'm trying to do is this one. See this query?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand it. So you basically like select from select.
Yeah.
And
so
doing
this
the
one
orders. Yeah.
So this is our in-operator optimization query. We are sure that this returns stuff in the right order, and we say we only want 10 items from it, right? Because that's what we need for the next page. I think in GraphQL, I think it's 100. And then this ensures that the query we read, the database we read only 10 rows. And then we just order by ID again. And by limiting in the query, this sorting will only sort these 10 items again, which is cheap and it doesn't really matter. But then the order by columns are the same, which means GraphQL can just easily process it. It's not a big deal.
Okay, I see. So basically you want to like apply the order twice?
Yeah. And the outer order is, we can say it's a no because it will probably not do anything, right? Because on a sorted set, running another sort is like, doesn't cost anything.
But we still like, if we do that, if you like add reorder where you try to edit just a second ago, we still will need to pass this cursor, right? Again, from what you've done already in the releases.
Yeah, so that's
to kind of add the limit.
We have to still do this. We have to add the limit, but I think that could work.
Okay.
In a simple way. What I don't understand, or what I don't know exactly, how the heck we
get the
cursor at this point, right?
Yeah.
So in the releases, because I'm not sure that it's available.
I guess we can get the params somehow. Just like a raw object of what was passed to the.
Yeah, I mean, that is, if I look self, so I'm inside the resolver, so I have like a field context, maybe.
Yeah.
Context. Cursor. Schema query.
There is context in the context.
Context in the context. That's
maybe it's a link to itself.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Is Cursores at like something we create? Is this like in the GitLab library, or it's?
So this is coming from the GraphQL library, and it's actually part of the standard GraphQL implementation, but I think we have our own customized implementation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you can just Google it, right? Access.
No, so we can't access.
Yeah, you can say connection false, and then all this stuff will be added to your query.
Oh yeah, I see. Basically, we'll need to kind of do it all ourselves.
Yeah.
I think what I will do is just maybe remove this ordering from the initial merge request and just create an issue for kind of investigating this. Because I think it's way too hard,
complicated.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's way too difficult to implement it right now. To be honest, I would need to think about it a bit more.
Okay.
One possible option, I mean, it's not.
Can you, before you remove anything, can you send me the diff?
Yeah,
I feel like you want to remove something.
Yeah. What I can still kind of so one option. So yeah. So let me just try this one. So this in-operator optimization is already kind of optimized.
Okay, sorry. Can
yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't want to type it from the video then.
Yeah. So let me just say.
Yeah.
Okay. So GraphQL, we don't force you to use key set pagination. That's kind of like a default behavior, but there are some special cases when key set pagination cannot be used. Let's say you have a very special sorting thing going on.
Yeah.
And since you are using in-operator optimization supports offset query. So as a stopgap measure, you could use offset pagination in GraphQL. And in that case, this will just work out of the box.
Oh, okay.
So you benefit from the in-operator optimization. The downside of the offset pagination query, if there is a machine, some kind of script processing the data, then it will get slower and slower. And this on GitLab.com, it's a problem for users. We have millions of users, but I'm not sure releases within a group is there yet. So I'm not sure.
I don't think that you will.
If there is no issue with the REST API, then this could work. And then as a follow-up, we could look into ways of doing key set pagination within operator optimization. Let me just. I don't know how we actually can tell with this one. Yeah, see, we have a few cases where we just simply cannot make it work with. Yeah.
No, interesting. It's milestones. Milestones is basically very similar to releases.
Yeah. So here we just say, okay, if we cannot paginate by non-stable cursors. So this is like the ones we said, I don't care. These are difficult to do with key set pagination. So just fall back to offset pagination. We just wrap our scope. So this is scope from your Finder.
Yeah.
You just wrap it with offset pagination and then call it a day.
Okay.
So that this could be a very simple solution because you
And I
benefit
think
from.
this is the way it works actually in the REST API right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would still, I mean, I would still create the issue for the research because I mean this problem will come up from time to time to how to use in operator in GraphQL. I expect this to happen at some point, so we should definitely have an issue for it. Yeah, I mean, when I have some free cycles, I can also take a look and see if we can actually implement this in a generic way.
Okay.
But, definitely not within this merge request. So.
Well, one more question. This is I'm just trying to understand how it looks from like the API user. So basically, if we speak about this milestones API, kind of depending on which sorting method you use, you need to pass different params for the pagination.
So actually not, because in GraphQL there are no pagination parameters. So all the parameters that's needed is encoded into a variable called cursor. Right?
Oh, okay.
So there is no such thing as like page parameter, because what the user sees is like an encoded JSON blob, and the backend decides how to deal with that. So maybe for the offset pagination, we actually expose the page parameter. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe we just expose the offset. We could actually try it. What was it? Milestones, right?
Yeah, it was milestones.
And then expired. Is it group, right?
Yep.
Good. Cannot see anything. Sort. Yeah. ID. What is it? Page info, right? And then add cursor. And then let's take, I don't know, first 5. Okay. And then here, so this is base64 encoded. So I think you get the offset here. You see?
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Let me try it. If you say 15. So this is even simpler than, you know, the Kaminari and what's the other one? So simply you get the
just only
offset.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what if you say after?
So it's kind of cool. So all we need to do is just add this to the Finder, like this offset pagination.
Yeah. So what I did here, so this is the first 15.
Yeah, I see, it's 15 plus 15. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually working. Yeah, you could just try. I mean, what was this group releases resolver, right? And we say offset pagination. I already have the diff, so I can just
You don't need this releases scope, right? You don't need the cursor there.
Yeah. Just not sure what I did. Yeah, it's good. Okay. And then just running your spec. So I just undo all the changes you made. because I think this will just pass. Yeah.
Nice. It's funny how simple the solution for this particular task
I mean,
ended up.
if your mind is like locked on key set pagination, we have to make it work, then of course you will be sitting here for a while. But this could be a stopgap, right? Easily.
Yeah,
because
Can
the
you?
feature. I'm just trying to look for the query on this one. So limit yeah, so it's offset 0. So this is just we are asking for the first page. What I would ask, I'm not sure.
But does it mean that if we have a ton of releases, doesn't it actually just removes all the benefit from the in-operator optimization? Like you still need to load everything in the.
Good question. So you need to. So this will only load everything on the last page.
Okay.
So it still scales better for the first few pages than.
Okay. Yeah.
So without the in-operator optimization, all the records within the group hierarchy needs to be loaded, will be loaded, even if you ask for the first page, even if you ask for one record, sorted in memory and returned to the user, right? So that's the standard. Really? Yeah. And with the optimization, so the optimization is smart enough to read as many records as you need without doing any kinds of in-memory sorting, because it will benefit from the database index that you have.
Okay, yes.
So the main problem of this, the Postgres, why we have this optimization in place, when you have an in operator, let's say these are my group IDs, right? Or these are my whatever. And you add sorting, it just takes the simple approach by loading all the records that are related and it sorts them in memory. And that's what's cost a lot of IO, right?
Yeah.
Because normally a pagination should access as many rows as many you ask for. So for example, if your page size is 20, the database should only read 20 rows. That would be the ideal case. But when you don't use the in-operator optimization, then it reads unbounded amount of rows. So for a large group, it can time out.
Yeah, I see.
And when you use the offset pagination for the in-operator optimization, you get the benefit, you still get the benefit for the first 5-10 pages of fast loading times. But as offset pagination itself is not scalable, it will get slower and slower. And this is something we cannot really change at this point. With offset pagination, it's a known issue. And if you would navigate to the last page here, that would mean the same performance characteristic as without the optimization. So this will read everything into memory.
But
yeah.
But then you I don't think it's a big problem, because basically the user or some automation should just try to read everything first. I mean, from the UI, it basically means clicking a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, for the UI, this will be definitely a win if you use the GraphQL API on the UI, because nobody will click hundreds of pages.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And about automation, that's probably a different question. We can, I mean, if the REST API is already there and it's working, this will provide the same performance pretty much. So
okay, cool.
How to improve it, that's probably next issue, next ticket if it's a problem. But I think this is a shortcut we can easily take for now. Maybe you can add an explanation comment here and link to an issue.
I'll just leave a suggestion. I post this video on YouTube Unfiltered, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind
it. Just maybe if somebody is interested in it or something, and I'll ping you on the issue. Okay. Cool. Thanks a lot for the help. I didn't expect this and to be ended in such a simple fix. But yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot. It was nice chatting with you.
No
and
problem.
I'll ping you on the issue. Yeah.
Cool. Have a nice
Cool.
day.
Yeah.
Bye.
You too. Bye.